Let me confirm that the tender committee had a quorum, because the quorum is 5 and actually 6 appointed members were present.
Can you tell this committee what were you doing in the tender committee? And why were you there? And who called you?
Mr. Chairman, I had said earlier I was in a meeting in Gigiri, and I do confirm that there was actually a notice for a tender committee meeting. And since Njenga was not in, the secretary, I normally know some members delay in coming to the meeting. I was informed that there is nobody from environment, and the chairman is already seated, and you are required to come to the meeting. This is when I came.
Who called you?
The secretary to the committee, Mr. Chairman, who normally convenes.
Who is the secretary to the committee?
Mr. Chairman, the then secretary to the committee was Njamura, Mr. Njamura.
The secretary who called you to attend that meeting, can you identify him among the witnesses who are there? Can you identify him?
Bear me witness that Maritime was sent by his boss, who did not know procedures of meeting. Chairman, he's just told us that Maritime was sent by his boss, who did not know the procedures that you cannot send somebody to sit on your behalf. And Maritime himself says he was called by the secretary, who he has identified. Chairman, this is not the first time Njamura is misleading this committee. So even before the memo, there is already a report to you that none of the bidders qualifies. Why then did you go ahead and award?
Even after indicating that none of the bidders qualified in terms of depth, the evaluation committee went ahead and recommended the highest scored firm.
The highest scored bidder.
Yes.
And among the highest scored bidder, none of them presented land which qualified or which met the criteria which you had set. So among all the 7, none of them met the criteria, but they recommended the highest technical score. So among the worst, the best was the one you awarded. Among the worst, you awarded the best. Yet that best did not qualify by your criteria. I have noted the word, let me read it to you. In view of the above, bidder number 7 is recommended for further consideration, having attained the highest technical score.
A tender adjudication committee considered was the final recommendation based on the final sitting of the tender evaluation committee.
But environment officer, when the piece of land that was given out, according to you, for a cemetery,
I didn't access the results of any soil samples that they were taken, but as I said earlier, when we were deliberating, and provisionally I thought this was the time I could make my input as a representative of the Director of Environment on the issue of environmental impact assessment. That was actually going to be subsequent exercise to now either qualify or disqualify the site for a cemetery. And that is when I was advised that that would have been taken care under the evaluation stage and not the tender committee stage.
You are telling us that your input was dismissed forthwith.
Absolutely.
What would have your input been if it was not dismissed?
I was of the idea that the land was not suitable based on the soil depth. In fact, issues of the weather, when it is raining, actually the graves will start moving. When it's also hot or dry, there will be cracks, and based on the soils that were black cotton, which was under review. So I was actually not for the idea.